Welcome. My name is G. You're watching Allastrology, and we're going to discuss Capricorn 2023. So as usual, an ending and then a beginning, but we also have the birth of Venus. It is a 2-year cycle. So we're going to discuss that in depth, give you a card, and then we'll talk about the ending and the beginning for January with a card for each of those events. Venus is our values. It's who I value, what I value. It's how I receive. It's my values in general, my values for myself. Do I value myself? So self-love, worthiness, all that good stuff, all that stuff that people don't, talk about over lunch, right? It's kind of like an internal thing we have that goes on with ourself and like all the little degrees of ourselves, right? So your birth of Venus is happening in a location that is described as the hidden, right? We had a birth of Venus back in December of 2022. Now, what's fascinating and awesome is that this means a hidden value for you because your birth of Venus happens in your 12th house. So it's a hidden value and it has to do with a belief of yours, right? Venus is about desire, who I desire, what I desire. So you have your rebirth. It's got kind of a foreign vibe to it, very foreign, like across the ocean vibration. And you're probably aware of this. You've probably been drawn to things that may have, it has nothing to do with where you were born. And it's not necessarily that you have living relatives over yonder. There's something about over yonder, over there, where people speak possibly a foreign language that appeals to you. There's something there, right? So it can be a bit of a mystery, right? But there's something tied to your beliefs, and it's very idealistic, very idealistic. So it's also higher learning. So it's like the wisdom of God coming through. It's almost in a sense like the ability to channel through like some of that God type of energy, because you have Sagittarius energy, okay, which is Jupiter, which is known to be the voice from out there, the voice from the cosmos, from all the planets. And so when we think about that, like who created all the planets, all that wisdom, all that knowledge, yeah, some would use the word universe, creator, Yahweh, Allah, God, whatever deity, whatever that word is for you, okay? You have it in a very idealistic location. That 12th house location is also ideal love. It's I keep hearing Shambhala. It comes through from a very high place, right? Now, there may be in your subconscious beliefs that you have about work that you either can or cannot do because you have Sagittarius energy here, okay? Sagittarius is the beliefs, right? And when I'm tying it into work is because we've got Venus here now for 2 full years, right? And so what happens is it comes down to our values, but how we can receive, how we can earn money. You see where I tied in the values, how we can earn money, because Venus is our bank account. Yeah, it's our bank account. So keep that in mind when you're considering what you want to do for work or what you don't want to do for work, or some things that you may have dreamt about or only have dreamed about. You know what I'm saying? Like we're like, oh, in my fantasy world, I would love to be this, or I would love to do that, right? Like we all have these. Well, maybe we don't. I don't know, right? I shouldn't speak for the generalities, but I think to never stop believing, never stop dreaming for something that is more than what we currently are, right? And that's okay. The dream, keep the hope alive, that whole thing, that's important. So a 2-year cycle, Venus, but remember, this is really connected to what you believe in. So it's tied to your beliefs and truth and freedoms. It's tied to possibly religion or spirituality. So there might be restrictions that you have felt or heard about, whether it's from your social world that you have, or parents, or whatever sort of society or societal norms that you've been immersed in, right? So that kind of shapes and forms who we are as far as our beliefs. So having a Venus rebirth here is basically saying it's time to believe in something you never thought believable. That's what this is, right? It's something that's off the planet. It is something that's really high up and really far out there. And at times it might seem a bit delusional, but just remember this sort of energy is so good when it comes to creating. So whether that's paint on the canvas, whether that's my hands working with clay, whether that's in the kitchen with some food, whether that's writing, whether it's, poetry or music, sound of some sort, whatever it is, maybe it's just simply traveling, right? Traveling and maybe being a travel, I don't know, food critic or vlogger or, like I'm on this journey type of thing. There's something about the word long journey, hidden long journeys, but values associated with hidden long desire for adventure. How's that? Desire for adventure. Okay. So we're going to pull you a card. So keep that in mind. It began in 2022. So this will take you right to the December of 2024. Okay. Are you ready? Here we go. Aquarius. You got the Aquarius card. Whenever we get the Aquarius card, it is a surprise because that's Aquarius. Now, I want you to also think about all the Aquarian keywords. It may have to do with the earth because that looks like earth right there on that card, but a part of the earth that's really high up, or it's just really elevated. It's an elevated value, possibly. I'm hearing this might be disturbing to you because you've never fathomed that either this could be something that either you could be good enough at. But you see, when you get the Aquarius card, it says technology and science. It is astrology, but digital and creative, right? So maybe you have some artistic talents that you've never explored or that you do for fun, because Aquarius, at the opposite end of Aquarius, is Leo energy. And there's something fun and liberating when we do something that is unique, something that we created. It's a piece of us. It's an extension of who we are. And it really allows us to raise our own flag, right? Right. Our flag of independence, our flag of uniqueness, of authentic creativity. Like, I invented that. I invented this. It's saying that it's time. You maybe you need a little shake up to wake up and to use some of your latent, hidden, creative skills. Because remember, Venus, we're talking about Venus. Venus is the queen, the originator of creativity. Leo is too, which is at the opposite end of this card. So I'm going to mention that energy. But Venus is also fine art. Venus is very creative. It's the spoken word. It's the literally speaking. And I don't mind telling you that Sagittarius, which is what we're talking about, the Venus rebirth in Sag, is being a teacher, is being a speaker. It is also going back to school, possibly online classes, because you got this card. Possibly online classes. Consider it continued education. It could be religion and spirituality for those of you who are more inclined that way. But if you were looking for, to change gears in career or to change gears in just creating in general, but, like you need a spark in your life, right? A value. What's going to happen is with the hidden values of Venus popping through and coming to your consciousness, Uranus being involved will open new neural pathways in your brain. Yes, it is the nerve and the nervous system, right? Uranus is here. It says, don't be afraid to be unique. Don't be afraid to stand out amongst friends, right? You may have friends that are overseas. There's something about friends, something about group energy, very, very alive. It's almost electric. Yes. So alive, it's almost electric. Very exciting. Very exciting. The energy is freedom loving. It's rebellious, idealistic, and technological. So that is with you for 2 years. Now we begin January 2023. We have an ending and it's a completion. Okay. So we've been doing something or thinking about something or working on something or whatever the heck it was we were focused on. It really had to do with family and home. I can tell you that much because this is a full moon in the sign of Cancer. Cancer energy is about nurturing, right? It's about my emotional needs. So there's something here that you are completing And it has to do with family. It could be your childhood. It could be mom. It could be the mother wound itself. When you think of mother wound, what kind of things pop into your mind? It's going to be different for everybody. There's no wrong answer on this one. But mother wound is warm, it's soft, it knows. It can have to do with food and feeding because we think of what a mom does for an infant, for her newborn. It's her job to feed. A mother has the ability to literally give from her own body to feed that baby, right? So there's a bond that's connected. And this is big with Cancer energy. There's a deep bond, but it has to do more with um, familia, family bonds, possibly like soul history type of bond energy. All right. But this is a completion. So this should be nice, right? Because it's Cancer, and Cancer can tend to be emotional. It can tend to be emotional. Now, for some folks, if you have something near the degrees of 1622, because that's where the full moon occurs, it might feel like a little much because it's a Cancer full moon. The moon rules the sign of Cancer. It does really well here, but it is definitely like just an end of a cycle and a completion. All right. So now for Capricorns, this ending and this closure and this completion is happening in your seventh house. So this is significant one-on-one relationships. Significant one-on-one relationships. So what this can mean is there may be people that you were either business partnered with or relationships, like people who you were just willing to compromise for. People you were like, okay, these people are important to me. This person's important to me. Because remember, this is significant one-on-one relationships. And we kind of have to make sure that we do certain things or don't say certain things, or, there's that give and take, right? That push, that pull, that fine balance, that dance that we have to do with those individuals who it's work. We work at that relationship. We know there's an important give and take. Something here is completing, something here is closing off, right? It's like a cycle. For many of you, this can be closing a chapter within an individual that you had in your life that you may have held close to you, who you felt like was either a mother to you or you were a mother to them in some way. Again, this can be either male, females, or others. It doesn't matter, theys. It's just someone who some way, somehow presented as feminine, strong feminine energy, nurturer, the nurturer in your life. Either that nurturing came from you or was given to you. But whoever those people are that you could, put in that category that makes sense for you in significant one-on-one relationships. And of course, I don't have to remind you, this can be business and this can be actually be marriages, like marriage partners. So this is a completion, a closure, and an ending. Now let us get you a card. All right, are you ready? Here we go. Vesta is the light. It's the goddess within. It's more feminine energy and very interesting. The goddess within your sacred spiritual center and quiet dignity. Quiet dignity. There is a lot of power here. Goddess within. So, in other words, there's a lot of energy that really doesn't have anything to do with your personality per se, right? Your quirkiness, as far as, your like your rising sign stuff. No, this is going to be more associated with your fiery sun slash personality energy. And yeah, maybe that's not even right, because it's really more of your spirit is what I keep hearing. The spirit. And fire is involved, right? Because Vesta is the flame that you carry, your quiet dignity. It's the way you shine and radiate, but it's not about you being on the stage for all to see. Not in that way. Vesta, it's like the things that you do for the people in your life where they are just like so grateful to know you. Even though there may be times where you guys seem at odds or you may be a pain in the butt, there's just something about the things that you do, whether it's the way you say things or possibly even the way you see things, your perspective on things, that they find refreshing and encouraging, right? It might even be your ability to just keep on going and to never give up, and your commitment level to just work hard. I mean, you think of like all these Capricorn keywords, and just that spirit of commitment, commitment to the work, to the big work, not the little work, but shit that's important, commitment to the stuff that matters. There's that quiet dignity involved. And so this being a part of a release, this will give us the indicator. Is there someone in your life who you can think of that would match this card? Is there an individual? They could be males or females, doesn't matter, like I said, or theys. It could be anybody in your life. But when I talk about Vesta, is there someone that pops in your head, right? And who knows? Maybe there's someone you know that has the look of this person on this card. I don't know who this card is, but I mean, I know who the card is, but that picture, no idea where they got that from. But it's the goddess within. So there's something really beautiful and supportive. There's a strength at the inner core of yourself that you have. And it's that strength at your inner core that gives you your light, that makes you sparkle to them in some way, whatever that is for you. Okay. And so Vesta being a part of this, quiet dignity, there's almost something old fashioned. There's something almost classic, about Vesta energy. So there's something here. And the thing is that even though things may change, Vesta is still going to be present to the degree where it's never going to be a real loss. It's never going to be a real loss, because even when we close a door to something or someone, or the cycle ends, it makes way for the new. Yeah, the third week of January, we have a new beginning. It's called a new moon. So when we have new moons, yeah, more lunar events. Moons are big deals, which is why we talk about the endings like the full moons and the new moons, because moon cycles, as humans living on the planet, we're pretty sensitive to them. So you, my friend Capricorn, you have a new beginning. And as I'm looking at your astrology, your new beginning is in your second house of money. I'm not making this up. It's in your second house of money and income. Okay. So now the new moon happens on the 21st of January. Okay. I'll have all the details below the video. Go check those out. The degrees, I believe, I want to say are 1 degree in 33 minutes or 32 minutes. Yeah. So it's near 0 degrees of Aquarius. So that's a big deal. And it has to do with friends because it's Aquarius. It's group energy. It can also be science. Right. What I think is fascinating is at the very beginning of this reading, the first card we got for your 2-year Venus cycle, which is also the second house, was Uranus. Uranus rules Aquarius. So in putting everything together in this reading, it's very fascinating because it looks like there is a really good possibility for either money coming in, the opportunity to make some new money, whether it's additional money like a side gig or just a complete transition into something more permanent. Because it's Aquarius and we have Saturn in Aquarius right now, this is a good thing. Because Saturn being in Aquarian energy speaks to something more solid, something more lasting, something more permanent. Usually when something begins under Saturn energy, right? Because Saturn is something that builds for the long haul. It builds for the long term. It's not like, hey, let's put up a tent. We're going to live here. No, Saturn's like, no, we're going to use some bricks and, we're going to build a foundation first. Like that's Saturn's way of doing things. It's the tent is temporary. Saturn is let's put up the actual structure and the building, something hard, like iron and hard materials. Saturn is something that lasts forever, right? Something that lasts a long time. That is Saturn energy. It's cold, it's hard, and it's built to last. So with Saturn in the second house for you, right? This is the whole placement of money and job, income. This can be good, right? This can be real good. And for those people out there, those Capricorns who've been looking and looking and looking, this might be a positive sign. It all comes down to those degrees, 132, 133 in Aquarius. So now let's pull you a card. I'm hearing, don't do anything else with the cards. I've been mixing them all. I've been talking. I'm hearing to grab this one right here. So that's what we're going to do. Ready for your new beginning? Let's see what we got here for you. Got the Leo card for this new beginning. Wow. This is boss energy, by the way. Leo is the boss. So I will say having a Leo card in Aquarius energy is telling me something creative. Keep this in mind. If you're not doing work online, why aren't you? I want you to at least try and consider and maybe do it as far as like maybe testing the waters and playing around. There's something really creative coming through here. Remember, we talked a little bit about creativity with your Venus too? Yeah, there's a lot of things pointing to creativity and it being fun and not recognizing there's possibly a way to make money off of whatever that fun thing was. There's so many people who were doing things that were just for fun. And then because they liked them, they would call it a hobby, not recognizing that there might be a window of opportunity for a means of income through that hobby. And I know that's everybody's like dream, their dream job, but getting this card, if nothing else, is saying, something here is about be a child again, have fun, games, it's group activity. This can be sports too because it's Leo energy. It's theater. It could be voice, public speaking, could be singing even because it's Leo and you're in the house of Venus, voice, spoken word, but something unique because it's Aquarian energy, okay? And standing out. Sorry, but that's just what it is. If you're uncomfortable with standing out, yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. Get used to it a little bit, at least, just for a certain amount of time. This energy is flamboyant, dramatic, proud, and passionate. It focuses on the importance of self belief. You're getting the Leo card to give you courage. You can do this, Capricorn. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.